How's it going, everybody? It's Chris's EAS and NASCAR Emporium here once again. And yeah, March Madness is back once again. And of course, we got the women's and the men's to rank out. And a major change here, I'm using the actual NCAA website instead of ESPN. So just to make it more official, rather. But of course, March Madness, we already know what happened. My bracket got busted last year. Hopefully, at least one of my Final Four picks will be actually in the Final Four this year. So we'll see what happens then. But then again, you never know. But we're gonna get started since as I'm recording this, the first four games about to start in about like an hour or so. And I don't know if I'll be getting to upload it before then, but we'll see. But yeah, but without any further ado, let's go ahead and get started. First up in the first round, we have UConn and Stetson. I've never heard of Stetson, but apparently they're the Atlantic Sun champions, noted. Looking at the matchup analysis, it looks like UConn has a slight advantage over them, although opponent efficiency, the number of points a team allows, it's like literally not even funny. Yeah, I think it's clear to say UConn. Although it seems like UConn kind of sucks more at throwing free throws, but UConn, you're definitely going to go for the dub. FAU and Northwestern, this is going to be a tough one, definitely. So, of course, Florida Atlantic, newbies of the American, Northwestern from the Big Ten. True shootage, looks like FAU tops that. Same with the net ranking. Opponent efficiency, they top that. Overall winning percentage, they top that. It looks like, I think FAU kind of edges them out. So I'm going to go with Florida Atlantic. San Diego State and UAB. Now, yeah, it looks like San Diego State really throws them off balance. Of course, San Diego State from the Mountain West, UAB, another newbie from the AAC, and of course they were the American Athletic Conference champions, of course. And it looks like, although not the best at free throwing for San Diego State, but nonetheless, I think I'm still going to pick them. Auburn and Yale. It looks like it is pretty good. Auburn has a pretty good track record. So I'm going to say Auburn. Of course, Auburn's from the SEC, Yale from the Ivy League, BYU and Duquesne. Now, BYU, they've changed as they're now part of the Big 12. Duquesne is now part of the A10. Now, they're pretty much right around the same in conference record, but overall percentage, it looks like BYU edges them out. So I think it's definitely going to be a tough battle right here between these two, because you could see Duquesne, they have pretty good opponent efficiency. They edge them out then. Overall winning percentage, BYU takes them. But the seed, that's BYU's thing. But looking at it, it's going to be a tough call. I'm sorry, BYU fans. I'm going to go with the upset. I'm going with Duquesne, going with the 11/6 upset on BYU. Illinois and Morehead State is next, and looking at the stats, it looks like... Oh, wait a minute. Sorry, oh, wait a second. It looks like, Morehead State has pretty good opponent efficiency. Hold up. Maybe Morehead State might not be a a bad option, but... Actually, they're pretty even in their matchup, so... Ooh, this is also going to be a tough call. I'm going to go for Illinois, though, because they've got, like, the veterans over there. It's better off that way. Washington State and Drake. I mean, to be fair, they have been doing decent, apparently, but it seems like Drake has also been doing quite well. They just edged them out in opponent efficiency. They've got a better overall winning percentage. Don't let the seed fool you. True shooting percentage, a net ranking is close, but I think the 10 over 7 up. I think Drake is going to pull off the 10 over 7 upset on Washington State. And as for Iowa State and South Dakota State, Iowa State from the Big 12, South Dakota State from the Summit League. Does not look like Iowa State will have any problem with the Jackrabbits. Sorry, South Dakota State, but you lose.
Extra training for first responders. Firefighters at the Shavertown Fire Company say the program has already helped them purchase a new space.
Moving down to the West region, we have North Carolina and Howard Wagner. Now, Howard and Wagner. Now, here's the thing. Howard and Wagner, they're battling for the first 4 seed in a second, or a little bit. Here's the thing, though. I think Howard is probably going to pull it off, but it doesn't seem like they're going to match up to the Tar Heels anyway, so a dub for North Carolina. Mississippi State and Michigan State. This is a tough battle here, definitely, but it looks like, it seems like besides the overall winning percentage, and it seems like actually Michigan State is slightly better than Mississippi State, so I'm going to go with the 9 over 8 upset, Michigan State moving on. St. Mary's and Grand Canyon, another newbie into the tournament, definitely. Looks like St. Mary's has got the upper hand for this one. I'm going to go with St. Mary's. Alabama and Charleston. I mean, Charleston has pretty good opponent efficiency. And they even have an best overall winning percentage. Wow. And they're pretty close in true shooting percentage. Hold up. So, I don't think you know what? Heck with it. I'm going to go with a 13 over 4 upset and pick Charleston over Alabama. Gotta say, the
that caused closures on both sides of the highway. Everything reopened around 1 this afternoon. No word on injuries as a result of this morning's crash on I-81 in Susquehanna County. Similar story in Pike County, where crashes caused a closure on Interstate 84. Authorities say multiple tractor-trailers crashed in the eastbound lanes near Blooming Grove just before 6 this morning. The section was closed for about 5 hours while first responders investigated and cleared the scene. Police have not said if anyone was injured in this morning's wreck in Pike County. Another popular convenience store will soon become Poconos.
Anyway, 13 over 4 upset. It seems like the Crimson Tide have really lost their magic. Clemson and New Mexico, I'm going to go with Clemson, no doubt. Baylor and Colgate, Baylor. Dayton and Nevada. I think this will be a pretty decent pick, but it looks like Dayton has the upper hand, so... yeah, I'm just making sure I'm not missing out on some key picks here. Arizona and Long Beach State. It looks like Arizona's going to be a no contest for Arizona. So with that being said, we're going to move over to the left side now, if I can. To the... I'm actually going to zoom out for a second. There we go. I think that's all I had to do. So Houston and Longwood. I'm going to go with Houston, obviously, because they've been pretty... Even despite their move to the Big 12, they've really been showing their dominance lately. Nebraska and Texas A&M. Here's the thing, though. It looks like Nebraska actually has the side over Texas A&M, but I think the Aggies might end up upsetting them anyway, so I'm going to pick Texas A&M. Wisconsin and James Madison. I mean, I really want to go for Wisconsin for my boy, like a good friend of mine that I have on Discord, but I don't know why it suggests James Madison, although maybe it's because they're... I'm sorry, Anthony, but I must. It looks like James Madison, I think they're going to pull the 12 over 5 upset on Wisconsin. I'm sorry, bud, but... Duke and Vermont, ever since Coach K retired, they've really lost their magic as of recently. I mean, look at this. I think Vermont, perhaps, might actually end up pulling off... I'm going to pull off another upset. This is going to be 13 over 4 upset. I'm going to pick Vermont over Duke. I think ever since Coach K retired, the Blue Devils have really lost their touch. Um, Texas Tech and NC State. Looks like it's pretty much no contest, really. It's a tight battle, I'll agree, but I think Texas Tech has a slight edge over them out. Kentucky and Oakland. Well, it looks like Kentucky actually has an easy dub, so. Colorado, Florida versus Colorado or Boise State. I'm going to go with Colorado to win the first 4 game over Boise State. But how are they against the Gators, though? Probably. You know what? Just because, I'm sorry, Gators fans, but I'm going to go with the Colorado. I'm going to go with Colorado beating Boise State in the first 4, and then going for the 10-7 upset on the Florida Gators. Sorry, but yeah, has to be done. And then Marquette and Western Kentucky, I'm going to go with Marquette. Midwest, Purdue and Grambling State and Montana State. This is a toss-up because Grambling State, they've never been in the NCAA tournament before, ever. But I'm sorry, but it looks like the Purdue Boilermakers, they really got you on that one. Utah State and TCU, I haven't seen anybody besides the Big Five in the top 8 before. Well, besides Gonzaga, of course, but But I think Utah State has a slight edge, so Gonzaga and McNeese. Never heard of these guys, honestly, but I guess they're also new, and they've got a pretty impressive opponent efficiency and winning percentage, but it doesn't seem like they do well in free throws. Let alone the. You know what though? I think Gonzaga. I think it's about time that their dynasty gets shut down. I think the 12/5 upset is going to go to McNeese. Sorry, Gonzaga fans, but Kansas and Samford. I'm going to go with Kansas. South Carolina and Oregon.
Where I gotta do what I gotta do.
Go with South Carolina. Creighton and Akron. I'm going to go with Creighton. They seem pretty decent. And then Texas versus the winner of Colorado State and Virginia. I think Colorado State's going to get the dub over Virginia, but against the Longhorns, I think the Longhorns have got one season in them, especially considering they'll be moving to the SEC next year alongside Oklahoma. So I think Texas will be going on. And Tennessee will easily get past St. Peter's. Moving on to the second round, UConn and FAU. I'm going to go with UConn because they still have a pretty good shot. San Diego State and Auburn. Looks like they're not the best when it comes to anything. Up against Auburn, they have a pretty good shot, but I think Auburn's going to move on. Duquesne and Illinois. Oh, man, the Cinderella run. It was good while it lasted. Although they have pretty good opponent efficiency for Duquesne, I think the Cinderella run's going to come to an end. Illinois is going to move on. And then Drake and Iowa State. They have a pretty good free throws percentage. They have a good true shooting percentage. Their opponent efficiency is not that great, but you know what? I don't see an upset. I'm gonna have Drake do a 10/2 upset. The first of the second round. I'm gonna have Drake moving on to the Sweet 16 against Illinois. Moving down now into the West region, North Carolina and Michigan State. I'm going to go with a shocker to practically nobody, Tar Heels. St. Mary's and Charleston. Looks like it's going to be a tough battle here, but I think it seems like St. Mary's really knows how they can do. I mean, Charleston, they've got pretty good free throw percentage, and it got a pretty good tie, but it's going to be a tough battle, but I think St. Mary's might pull it off somehow, some way. So Clemson and Baylor next. And it looks like, this is another one of these tough battles here, it looks like. But I think I'm going to go with the 6/3 upset and pick Clemson. Sorry, Baylor fans. Duke and Dayton and Arizona. Looks like this is kind of like a no contest here. I'm going to go with Arizona. Up to the South region now with Houston and Texas A&M. I am going to go with #1 ranked Cougars, because I think they've got a pretty good chance. James Madison in Vermont. I think, in fact, I think they got pretty good ranks, although Villanova, it seems like Vermont really knows how to do things, although, let's see, no, I don't, I think James Madison's going to edge them out. They're going to move on to the Sweet 16. Texas Tech and Kentucky. I think it's no contest, really. I'm going to go with the Wildcats. And then Colorado and Marquette. I'm going to go with Marquette because I think Colorado's Cinderella run might have just come to an end right then and there. Purdue and Utah State. It's going to be a tough one. But, oh, looks like, but Purdue might have the manpower, so I think they're going to pull it off. McNeese and Kansas. I think, yeah, there's no way they're going to get past, the Jayhawks. No way. Sorry, McNeese, but you're done. South Carolina and Creighton. I think it looks like Creighton might actually have the pull off, so I'm going to go with Creighton. And finally, Texas and Tennessee to wrap up the second round. Looks like the Volunteers really have shown their strength. I'm going to go with Tennessee. So that moves us out of the second round and into the Sweet 16, moving into our Eastern Regional semis, UConn and Auburn. I am going to go with a shocker to practically nobody, and I am going to pick UConn. And Illinois and Drake, and oh my, could we have, I think, oh my, Illinois, and oh my, I think Drake might be the hugest shocker of the tournament, because I see Drake moving on to the tournament into the Elite Eight. Now, trust me, I'm not, I'm not rooting for Drake or anything. I'm not a Drake fan. I'm just treating him equally, and I gotta say, though, Drake, you really know your stuff. North Carolina and St. Mary's now in the Western, or not the, I think this is the West region, isn't it? Yeah, the West region semis. Looks like North Carolina, they're still going to get it done nonetheless, so I'm going to go with North Carolina. Clemson and Arizona. Oof. Tigers, you're done. And South region now, Houston and James Madison. It looks like, wow, it seems like James Madison really knows their stuff. Although, thing is, well, they actually have had pretty good shots in the past. I think 3-1. I'm sorry, Houston, but I think your Cinderella run might as well just end here. I think you guys will be the one going to the Elite Eight. James Madison, wow. So we got two double-digit seeds. Here in the final, in the Elite Eight. How about it? And finally, Kentucky and Marquette. It looks like Marquette has a chance, but it looks like the Wildcats have really put up a great fight. So I'm going to go with a 3-2 upset, or 3-2 upset, and pick Kentucky. And in the Midwest semis, Purdue and Kansas. It looks like Kansas might have a good opportunity, but I think Purdue is going to pull them off. And finally, Creighton and Tennessee. Oh, wow. Looks like Tennessee might actually, and I think it's going to be a no-brainer, even though it says that I should pick Creighton. Nope, I'm picking Tennessee. I don't know what the AI were thinking. And now we move on to our Elite Eight, the regional finals in the East Region final. We got UConn and Drake. And I think the Cinderella run might end here. And man, Drake, you've had such a good run, but I think your Final Four run, your Cinderella run ends here against UConn. Sorry, but you know. In the West Regional Final, North Carolina and Arizona. I'm gonna go with North Carolina. No surprise. Although it looks like Arizona. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna pull in Arizona. I think they've got a pretty good idea. In our Western or South Regional final, we got we have James Madison in Kentucky, and wow, oh, wowie, wowie. And I think the Wildcats have a pretty strong run. I think, just like Drake, I'm sorry, James Madison, but it looks like your Cinderella run also ends here. I'm going to go with Kentucky, 3/12, heading to the Final Four. And in the Midwest, Purdue and Tennessee, it looks like as though Tennessee, although Purdue, they've got a pretty good chance, although, oh wow, looks like it's a tie. I think, you know what? I'm going to go with Tennessee. In fact, I don't know if these two faced off in the SEC final, but if they did, actually, no, I don't have it, so never mind. But yeah, we got our Final Four now set to go. So here we go. Final Four, UConn, Arizona, Kentucky, and Tennessee. Who's going to the title game? Let's find out. First up, UConn and Arizona. I think it's going to be a toss-up here as well, but it looks like as though UConn may be going to the Final Four or the championship game once again. And of course, Tennessee and Kentucky. This is going to be a toss-up as well, but it looks like Tennessee edges them out. Although the true shooting percentage, Kentucky edges them out over that, but compare that with the opponent efficiency. But here's the thing, though. The opponent efficiency, Tennessee's got that beat. Overall winning percentage, Tennessee. And overall free throws, Tennessee and true. But so I think it's because Kentucky has the offense, or Tennessee has the and Tennessee has the defense. It's going to be a tight battle, but I think Tennessee is going to be moving on to the championship game. I think the Volunteers will actually have time to shine. So with that being said, it's time to move on to into our championship game. It's UConn and Tennessee.
Yeah.
So, this is going to be a tight battle here.
Monday and Tuesday look good.
But it looks like, even though Tennessee, it's going to be a tight battle, but it looks like so my projection, UConn is going to go back-to-back with the championship, with the NCAA. UConn is going to go back-to-back with the NCAA championships. It's 2 in a row for the Huskies. Now with all that out of the way, I gotta use the bathroom real quick, so I'm going to pause my recording here.
I'm saving hundreds every month now, and that's a huge weight lifted. Now I won't have to choose between paying for medicine or paying bills. Tell Congressman Cartwright, keep lowering our healthcare costs.
It all starts with a Chevy truck. Chevy Silverado with the Turbo Max engine and best-in-class standard torque. And Chevy Silverado HD with up to 14 available camera views. Do more in a Chevy truck. Get yours now.
Okay, so I'm back, and let's get started on the women's now. So, South Carolina and Presbyterian, and that's it's pretty easy. North Carolina, Oklahoma, Indiana, Oregon.
Well, see, he was confrontation with a police officer. It was the last anything you've seen. And the officer ain't talking.
David, Americans being told they'll be given just
Prior
to any potential flight out, and that they'll have to make it to the embassy at their own risk. David?
Matt Rivers in Haiti for us again tonight. Thank you, Matt. We turn out to London tonight where yet another royal image is making news. Another photo reportedly altered. This one with the Queen. What's been spotted in the image, and of course the bigger question, what's going on here? ABC's Maggie Ruley in London.
Tonight, Kensington Palace and the Princess of Wales under fire again, accused of doctoring family photos. Now this photo, the palace says, was taken by the princess in 2022 under scrutiny. Getty Images suggesting it could be digitally enhanced.
It adds to the narrative that people feel that they can't
be trusted and concerned about what they can believe. Getty reviewing images provided by the palace after Kate apologized for manipulating this photo, only adding to the speculation about who it will be. Though this footage, obtained by TMZ, appears to show Kate and her husband Prince William grocery shopping near their home in Windsor Saturday. Photography experts interviewed by ABC News pointing out clear signs of editing in this family portrait featuring the late Queen. Like vertical lines in the Queen's skirt here, and the couch here, and this odd outline surrounding Prince Louis' face. Then David Brown, expert, told us it's possible that photo is a composite. But now Getty's going back and reviewing all images provided to them by the palace. David,
suspects. Just 11, 12, and 16. Also used to
and South Carolina State or Iowa, with the help of Caitlin Clark, will probably get it done. So let me just upload the tiebreakers. So I think it's gonna be a close one. So I'm gonna say 85 to 83. And as for this one, it's probably gonna be a blowout. 97 to 69. And I'm going to finish.
Most participants taking Vyvgart also had less muscle weakness.
And just like, come on, just like that. So that's gonna do it for this video. I'll see you guys later, and I'll see you in the next video. This is Chris's EAS and NASCAR Emporium, signing out. Peace!